Welcome back to Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. We're a third of the way through the season, and we're here with our NFL Week 6 review. Forgive Joe, who's eating his way through Canadian Thanksgiving through the recording of this. But I'm, of course, always joined by Byron and, as the aforementioned, celebrating Joe. Gents, how are we both doing? NFL Week 6, almost in the books. We've still got Monday to go, but yeah. How did you enjoy this week?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Some annoying losses that I wasn't too keen on. Dallas losing, Jags losing. Spoiler alert, but yeah, it was a fun week. Eagles lost, so we always celebrate that as well as Canadian Thanksgiving.
So, Joe, have you finished your mouthful too?
Yeah, I could speak here. Don't worry, I'll put it on mute when I'm eating. No one needs to hear that. Yeah, I was going to say a fun week 5. It wasn't for me. We'll obviously get onto it with the devastating news from the team I spotted. It just makes football just sad times. But hey ho, we're thankful that football's here, and then we can watch another 12 weeks plus the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
We're thankful the football is here. We're thankful that we're winning bets. Another pretty decent week so far, with still Monday to go. Plenty of props here. I think it's a 7-1 prop that we've hit, 4.5 or 9-2, 3-1 prop. I've had another decent week in terms of just straight bets over totals and sides. So yeah, it's pretty good from a gambling perspective as well. So yeah, we will take it. Another positive one in the books. But first up, before we get into our full review, shout out, just because we didn't come across it or didn't manage to chat through it on Friday's preview. We've known for a couple of weeks that at Wembley and London are going to be getting a college game for next season, a Big 12 game. So again, Big 12 conference who took Farmageddon, Iowa State versus Kansas State to Dublin, following that up by taking Arizona State and Kansas to Wembley Stadium. I don't know if we're going to do 90,000 tickets for it. Hopefully so. It'd be great to have a full jam-packed Wembley for it. But tickets are on sale now. It's the Union Jack Classic, Saturday the 19th of September. We're going to be there, at least as fans, hopefully more. But tickets are on sale now. Go follow at Union Jack Classic on Instagram, Twitter. Get your links to buy your tickets now. Very reasonably priced as well, given kind of the NFL ticket fiasco that we've had. So, yeah, go get your tickets for Arizona State, Kansas State. Great game. Arizona State were a playoff team last year. Can Scatterbo, obviously, for, school, and we're going to talk about him in a few minutes, no doubt. And, yeah, 2 big teams in the Big 12. Should be a great game. And it's week 3 in the season as well, so it's not a week 0 game. It's week 3 of the season. So all of the teams will be rolling a little bit, and we'll get a kind of fire in Arizona State and Kansas Jayhawks at Wembley Stadium. Excellent. Hopefully, I think maybe RJ is going to come. Hopefully, that would be nice. He's an Arizona State alum, so maybe RJ from Blogging the Boys is going to come over and we'll get some as well. That would be ace.
Get to Old Trafford.
Taking to, yeah. I mean, yeah. At that point, we will definitely be on a new manager and probably have lost 4 games by that point in the season.
Yeah.
Probably a bit easy to get tickets. Right, shall we dive into our NFL review?
Let's go.
A little bit of a bonus college chat there. Gaming focus this week. So the main game we're going to talk about is Sunday Night Football. Chiefs 30, Lions 17. Mahomes tames Lions with Masterclass. Post-game brawl hogs spotlight after Mahomes shows why he's still number 1 QB in the NFL. Is a snap branch a bad sign for the Lions? We've just found out breaking news. He's been banned for a game. Do you want to start with the brawl? Because that's the headline from it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly no olive branches, was there, at the end of the game. I just think Brian Branch shown his immaturity, basically. Juju's absolutely done him. And he's complaining like he was grabbing him after the plays, pushing him after plays and stuff. It's like it's the NFL. Players are going to try and gain little advantages and try and get in your head and try and wind you up. And complain to the ref during the game if you're going to. Don't just take a punch at somebody after the game when they took the helmet off. I think that's really kind of a cheap shot.
Shall we take a quick look at it?
Oh, yeah, if we've got the footage, yeah, go ahead.
We've got the footage. This is from Rate the Refs, at Rate the Refs on Twitter, or at Rate_the_refs on Twitter. So we've used them before, so hopefully no strikes this time. But yeah, here's the kind of clip. It starts off, it starts off with
Mahomes extends the hand to him. Branch doesn't respond, doesn't put his hand out. Pat on the back. Juju Smith-Schuster saw that. And then Branch and Juju continue to pass by, and he gives Juju a shot, who goes down. And that's where the whole thing began. It was Pacheco, Branch, Juju, and other players involved, including Trent McDuffie, as most of the guys were trying to keep things calm.
The league's going to take action on that one against Branch.
So also shout out to Rico and Collinsworth, who are the audio of that Sunday Night Football.
And Juju didn't have his helmet on, but he took it off later to start yelling, I guess. So yeah, not as much of a cheap shot as I was making out, I guess.
It's a bit of a cheap shot when Juju goes to shake his hand. And then
it still is a cheap shot, but at least he has his helmet on. I thought he'd hit him straight in the face with no helmet. But yeah, it was just unbecoming, I think, of this little Lions team. And Dan Campbell said he was in the wrong after the game. Not the kind of
first thing he said before he even got asked the question, he addressed it and just said, "This is not us. He was out of order. We'll deal with it." And he's now been dealt with a 1-game suspension by the NFL as well.
Yeah, next week's tougher for them.
But to the game, for sure, I think this was a real backs against the wall for the Chiefs, because I think given the fact that we'll talk about those games later, the Broncos eked out a win, the Chargers eked out a win. This was huge for the Chiefs not to fall. And 2-4 and be 2 games back. But I just thought they put in a real solid performance, just led by Mahomes. And this is the best individual game he's played for maybe 18 months or so. I thought it was fantastic. What did you guys make of the Chiefs' performance?
Yeah, I think Mahomes has played well all season, really. Keeps coming up when it matters. But yeah, he was really good last night. 22 of 30, 257, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the almost every week rushing touchdown was there. Of course it was. That was a 3-1 hit for us this week, which, always pleased with. Hollywood Brown, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Mahomes is just taking more and more command of the offense, it feels like. As, last year was a down year, very dink and dunk. But, I mean, it was a lot of dink and dunk yesterday, but it was very, very, very productive. And the Lions just couldn't get near him, essentially, to slow him down. They had the one fumble that Mahomes recovered, that Aiden Hutchinson hit. But otherwise, it felt like a real clean game for Mahomes. And, that's why you're the best.
Absolutely. Joe, what do you make? From the flip side, was the Lions' game plan a struggle, or was it we just see kind of the Chiefs' defense that we normally see in these kind of big games stand up like it's not been standing up recently?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Obviously, they had quite a few long drives, and how the game started, I think, obviously, it's not going to change the game, but that field goal they kicked after going 9 minutes 39 drive, and Goff got the touchdown, but then it was ruled a penalty. With David Montgomery throwing the ball and not being set. I think that's the kind of, and I think the Chiefs just got that touchdown when they needed to. Like when they just got the field goal, the Chiefs got their touchdown, and whenever it felt like the Lions were stopped on downs or they had to punt, and the Chiefs just always hit that. Obviously, with the Lions secondary having the injuries as well. Obviously, Kirby Joseph went out in the first half as well. I think some of the injuries are starting to play, and I thought the Chiefs just played this, excellently. They didn't panic. Even when they were 10-6 down, and they went on downs, I think they just kept it close, and then, like I said, punished when the Lions couldn't. And it's really the Chiefs' way, going 3-3. You get Rashee Rice coming back next week as well, and this offense has looked good the last 2 weeks. I think it's all positive signs for this Chiefs team, and if the defense can do, like I said, just a few stops, I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they were a couple of years ago, especially early on in the season. I think they just need to keep teams in check and not put Mahomes in a huge hole where he has to make it all. He has to do everything. I think this was an all-around performance from the Chiefs, and like I said, 3-3, playing the Raiders next week. It's like the Chiefs are back to where they belong, and the other teams are not looking as strong as we maybe thought, certainly before the season started.
12-point favourites against the Chiefs next week, or 12-point favourites against the Raiders next week already. The Chiefs, and I thought it was really impressive. Well, the fact that Josh Simmons was a late It was ruled out late due to kind of personal family thing. I thought in the game plan, I don't know if that was going to be the plan anyway against the Lions or they adjusted. But Mahomes are there either moved him out of the pocket to kind of get away from the sort of the defensive front, or it was just quick drops and, you know, short passes. And we sort of saw, I think, you know, a bit more from Travis Kelce, who was kind of, you know, again, reliable. So some moves from Kelce as well, kind of after the catch, stuff that we've not really seen from him recently. And then, yeah, it was short and just keeping the chains moving. So real impressive work. The Lions, I don't think there's anything necessarily to panic about for the Lions. Like, you know, there's no shame getting beat at Arrowhead. Most teams do. So yeah, they go on, you know, for a game next week against the Buccaneers, and maybe that's more one that they need to look to bounce back on. That is, we've got double Monday Night Football again next week. I've just noticed.
They're completely double as well. One's a 6 and one's a 9 start on the East Coast, so it's going to be a late finish in Houston.
Yeah. So yeah, so Buccaneers, Lions, and Texans, Seahawks. So yeah. Anyway, big win. I think it was just huge for the Chiefs just to kind of get back to 500. I kind of feel they'll just get rolling now. Like I feel like they've had the blip, and we'll just see them motoring on. I was having a look just off the back of this. Mahomes 94 for MVP. Kind of feel like if they just keep the momentum going, they could end up. They might drop even if they were 12-5, something like that. Dropped another couple of games. Still think you could, you know, win MVP off the back of that. But we'll see if he carries on. Any more on
94?
That was
way too short.
But yeah, any more on Chiefs Lions before we head on? Excellent. Trim down number of games we're going to look at this week. Just the 2 for our takeaways and 2 for our weekly overreactions. Byron, we head to you for your spotlight and takeaway game. It's the Patriots 25, Saints 19.
Yeah, it's Mardi Gras in New Orleans as Drake keeps shining. New England take care of business, going 4-2 and look well set to continue their playoff push. Can they actually challenge for the division? The Bills 4-1 play at Atlanta tonight. If they lose that game, Patriots go top of the division, or remain top of the division, I guess, at this point. Yeah, I thought New England were really good here. Drake May, especially, as we mentioned there, 18-26, 3 touchdowns, 261 yards. Had a touchdown to Demario Douglas callback for I don't know what. It was a very confusing play call. I said it was PI, but it was thrown by a judge 30 yards away. I don't know what they were doing, truthfully. But what I do know what they were doing was going through Drake May very impressively. We do have the stat as well from, I think everybody in the NFL reported it. Let me just bring it up. But, Drake May joins Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and Dan Marino as the only quarterbacks aged 23 or younger with 200 plus passing yards and 100 plus passer rating in 5 consecutive games. Not bad company to keep, I would dare say. And when you look at their schedule going forward, I know this your overreaction last week, Paul, or certainly something you touched on as a point of interest. The Patriots' schedule is soft the rest of the way. It's why a lot of people had them getting to like double-digit wins or 9+ wins in the preseason. And they're looking well set to get there. I think Drake May looks better by the week. I think the offense looks better by the week. Big game going back to Louisiana for Keyshawn Booty, former LSU receiver, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. And yeah, I don't think there's much to say about the Saints. Competed again. Didn't cover, but again, competitive. Really talent low squad. But I think this week was all about New Orleans getting that win. Drake May continuing to shine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a big. I've talked about it with Dan from the Saint City and me. I thought this was a real look at potential like letdown spot for the Patriots coming off kind of that big win last week against the Bills. But I suppose that's the point, isn't it? Where they're able to get into them about kind of stacking wins and just getting into that habit of actually you don't have the fall offs, you don't have the peaks and troughs. It's that consistent level of performance. I'd still love to see more from the running game. I think they struggled again, 2.5 yards a carry on the ground. From the running game, it's just not working with Stevenson. Stevens went 13 carries for 18 yards, 1.4 yards a carry. Traven Henderson again, 10 touches on the ground. In the running game, he got 1 catch as well from 2 targets. And give Traven Henderson 15 plus rushes a game. He can take it to the house. He can be your home run hitter. And then you can balance things with Drake May. It's not falling all on him. Even as impressive as he's looked. Joe, what are you making of the Patriots?
Yeah, I was impressed again. I think we talked about it earlier on, just on a previous pod, just with their schedule coming up and just with everything they've got. It's getting to a point with how the AFC is. If they don't make the playoffs now, it will be a bit of a disappointment just because, like you said, when you look at that schedule, it's like, oh, they could get to 10 wins easily. And these are the kind of games where, from great teams to like good teams, I think this is like the difference is winning these kind of games away from home against teams you should beat. There's plenty of teams who can, have a good game and you think, oh, this is, the next step. This is the next, they're going to push on and then lose to like the Saints, similar to what the Giants did, obviously, a week before. So I think it was a great win, just looking good all around. I think Milton Williams is looking a great acquisition in middle of that defense, and Diggs is actually looking like a number one wide receiver. So I think it's all things pointed up for the Patriots. And when you have a QB who's looking, top 12, top 10 quarterback this season, it's it's a good spot to be in. And now it's just can they continue and actually put pressure on the Bills later in the year? I think that's the big question. Can they actually, take them down? I know they've already been them once, but it's sustaining it now. So, and obviously injuries and everything. Are they a team who can cope with that? Obviously, because a lot of teams are dealing with that right now. But how they're playing, it's New England, like that hard time. 5 years without a dynasty. Tough time for that fan base. Is turning around.
Tough time indeed. I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it in our group chat during the week. I took the Patriots to win the division at 7-2, just as I was off the back of that win last week. It's slightly changed to 14-5 now, but of course the Bills have still got a game to play this week. So it's like we talk about soft schedule. It is the softest remaining schedule in the NFL. It's the easiest schedule by strength of schedule, I suppose, or the measure is. So yeah, I'm fully expecting them to kind of go on unless there's a significant raft of injuries. I just can't see how they don't at least secure a wild card spot, especially when you look at the opportunities. You can count the Ravens out now, and the Bengals are probably done. So there's opportunities there for playoff spots. Patriots 4-2, Saints fall to 1-5. Joe, your game next, and it's one of the games that we previewed. It was the Seahawks Jaguars. Seahawks 20, Jaguars 12. Oh, we've not updated the headline as well.
Yeah, great. Well, I've updated it so I can. So my headline was Hawkwood for Jacksonville. Darnold, JSN, and defense carry Seahawks impressive win against the Jags, whose offense could not make up for having no turnovers. So we talked about this game previously, and for me, it was one of them games like, can you step up? Can the Jags show, who they are? Can they do it again? I think that Monday night was a great victory against the Chiefs, but I was always curious if they can continue that on, especially against the Seahawks. And I think the Seahawks defense stepped up against, a Jags offense, which has been okay, decent. They got, I think it was 7 sacks on Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, 7 sacks on Trevor Lawrence. That's certainly the most. The Jags shot themselves in the foot quite a lot. I think they got like a huge touchdown, but Hunter was lying just offside. I think he was just a toe over. And it was just little mistakes like that. They had quite a lot of mistakes. But yeah, the Seahawks came into this game without any of their freestyle defensive backs, as Julian Love, Witherspoon, and Tariq Woolen was all out. So to have all of that and still produce what they produced against his Jags team, I think it was really impressive. The Seahawks side, Darnold just played smart football. We talked about the Jags with all their turnovers. Seahawks didn't really give them a chance, to be honest. And he was just throwing it to JSN, who right now, could he be, would it be crazy to say he's the best wide receiver in the league? 8 catches,
awesome game, wasn't it? Yeah.
8 catches for 162 yards. He had 13 targets. He had 1 TD. I think it's impressive when I think everyone knows who's going to get thrown to, and they still can't stop him. Obviously, Newsome being there, just being traded from the Browns, and he couldn't stop him at all. So it was just impressive all around from the Seahawks. They just did what they had to do. Obviously, it was only 20-12, but I feel like they played better than that. I think there was a few scoring opportunities they let go, and the Jags was just a bit sloppy on that end. Especially, I think Brian Thomas dropped a huge third down when he was wide open as well near the end. So, a good victory. And the Seahawks have got back on track after losing to the Bucs last week, and it makes next week games interesting for both teams. Obviously, you mentioned Seahawks and Texans, and Jags travel to the UK against the Rams, which will be a fun and exciting game.
Minus
Puka Nacua. I'm so angry about that. Like, you wanted to see the stars there, and obviously we was watching that game at the watch party with the Ravens. And as soon as he went down, I was like, for fuck's sake, Puka gone. We've got your headline up on the screen at least for the benefit of those people on YouTube, Joe. So sorry about that, mate. And Byron, obviously two teams that obviously you are a big fan of, but obviously Seahawks went this is slight underdogs, 1 point underdogs. But I was real disappointed with the Jags from what I saw in this one.
They actually went in as favourites. They were underdogs when we recorded, but by the time it went game live, it was plus 1.5 Jacksonville. So I took Jacksonville plus the money, unless it was plus 8.5. I was still banged though. So I thought what you say about the defensive backfield of the Seahawks really well said, Joe. Great start from Travis D. Holmes from Big Cat Country, who hopefully we'll be speaking to this week.
He is out next week, confirmed.
The Seahawks entered week 6 with the league's 26th ranked times pressure at 2.78 per seconds by NFL Pro. Trevor Lawrence average time to throw on Sunday was 3.1 seconds. Well, that doesn't add up to a good situation for Trevor Lawrence, does it? Sacked 7 times, pressured 33 times. Incredible performance from that Jags defensive front, making up for the deficiencies on their back end. I thought they were really, really impressive. Lawrence was Lawrence. I think that's what you're going to get from Trevor Lawrence. I think we need to stop thinking of him as number 1 overall pick. He's a very inconsistent quarterback. He makes great throws. He makes bonehead decisions. And that's just what he's going to be his entire career until we see otherwise. But I thought it was really impressive from Seattle. The Road Dogs, 9 road wins in a row for Mike McDonald's gang. Just really impressive performance to, sit Jacksonville back down after a huge Monday night. I thought it was really impressive by Seattle.
I was going to say, with Brian Thomas did look, the last few games, he seems to have stepped up. He got 8 receptions for 90 yards. Like I said, he did have that big drop. So he still has them occasions where it's like, where's the Brian Thomas of last year? They actually had 10 players catching over 10 yards, which is quite a lot of pass catching. But it felt like it was Brian Thomas or no. And Travis Etienne didn't have the greatest game, which...
Thomas did have a 54-yard touchdown called back as well from Travis Hunter not lining up correctly as well, which was a stinger because I thought Brian Thomas was really going to go off this week. He had a fine week. I cashed at 9-2 for him to have over 80 yards and a touchdown, I believe it was. It was certainly something and a touchdown, which cashed. That would have been a nice double dip of a touchdown with that 54-yarder, but not to be. And I think Jacksonville, kind of seen it on Monday Night Football. I think I like them as a team, obviously. I've had them ranked highly in our power rankings, but they do need to kind of bat a 10 or bat 1,000 to win games against good teams. And they didn't yesterday. So Seattle did, and Seattle won. I think that's kind of a lot to it. Yeah, 2 pretty evenly matched teams, and Seattle played better on the day.
Yeah, excellent. Just the other bets from Byron mentioned your bet at 9-2 that you cashed Brian Thomas 8+ receiving yards and a touchdown, 9-2. I had Darnold and Lawrence over 1.5 pass touchdowns each, which cashed at 12-5, which was nice as well. So, productive game from a betting perspective as well. Can't touch that already. Seahawks Monday Night Football next week, a very late one, 3 a.m. kickoff time in the UK. So they're at home to the Houston Texans. So that's, I guess, Pacific Northwest, and that's why they've got it very late. And then, the Jags are at London, in London, of course. Yeah, they've got the Rams at Wembley. Currently 3-point underdogs for that game as it stands.
Start about 24 hours before about 48 hours before the other one.
Yes.
The Seahawks game, because it's so late on Monday, about 36 hours between the two.
I know. I feel like I'm
so early Sunday.
Yeah, excellent. And we'll be there. We'll be in the house. And we'll talk about that later in the preview on Friday. Overreaction, the weekly overreaction. Byron, you're up first if I've updated the things right.
We're going to talk about the Broncos-Eagles again.
We can talk about the Broncos-Eagles again if you want. Give me a quick second. Try to do this all as we go is very difficult. I appreciate, Joe, how much of a challenge it is for you.
It's on the screen now, Paul. Oh, it was there then. You had it.
I had it.
Yep.
Yeah. You just got rid of it.
So I did have it. I've got it. Don't worry. We're back. Giants 34, Eagles 17 from Thursday Night Football. And before we talk about the game itself, we've got to talk about Charlie. 3 in a row.
He's a good boy. He's crushing it.
2 outright winners for underdogs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Charlie's not fazed by what the popular opinion is or, what people think. He's just goes with his own spirit. And now that he knows what it is, since our pep talk, he's gone 3-0. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I feel like that's been a lot of the talk, the chatter I've been hearing. That actually, the 0-13 isn't on Charlie. It's on you, Byron, for not really explaining how ATS works.
Understandable, yeah, fair enough. I will take my lick and give Charlie his props.
And on that note, if we've got a dog that can correctly pick 3 Thursday night games in a row against the spread, anybody else that puts out just straight up pick predictions,
yeah, come on,
you're fucking ashamed of yourself.
Yep.
What? I'm 60%, 70% picking straight up games. I know ball. No, you don't know ball. You don't know ball. Pick ATS.
Yeah.
God damn it. Anyway, I need to get that out.
Good dogs win, great dogs cover. That's what I've always said.
It annoys me every time I see it on an Instagram or a Twitter post or whatever. Somebody doing it, it's like, no, just don't do that.
Yeah.
Eagles Giants, anyway. Do you want to go for your headline, Byron?
Absolutely, yeah. Tush push, no match for scat play. I've always said that. Eagles superstar offense looks lost. It's 30th in yardage. You look at all them players on that offense. Is a Super Bowl repeat dead already? And I have a fun question for you. It's not related to a number one, I'm afraid. But you know, last time the Eagles were finished the season ranked 30th on offense. This is by total yardage.
Last time Eagles finished 30th.
Right? I can just tell you, you don't need to guess.
Yeah.
It was Andy Reid's first season.
Jesus.
The 1999 Philadelphia Eagles, quarterbacked by Doug Peterson.
Cool, that makes sense.
Nobody with over 100 targets. Torrance Small was their leading target getter at 99. Juice Staley was their leading running back. Their backup running back was Eric Bieniemy. It was a while ago. And you know what? They didn't win a Super Bowl. Let's just get that out there very early. They did not win a Super Bowl. They went 5-11. The start of Big Red's career, or Big Green as he maybe was then. And they look lost on offense. Washington has played tonight, as we'll see. If Dallas had won yesterday against Carolina, I think this division's kind of in play for anybody. Because Philadelphia, I don't know, they don't look like they can beat anybody on offense.
They look broken, I agree.
And there's no good reason for it. The last 2 weeks have led, I think they've been second in pass rate over expectation, and it hasn't worked. They just look beyond cooked, and there must be a solution to it because those players haven't all turned bad over the summer. To me, they just need to change the OC. They've done it before in season. In 2023, when things weren't going well, they've made coaching changes, and I think they just need to bite the bullet and say, Kevin Pattillo, you need to go and learn somewhere a bit more before you come back to Philadelphia as a coach, because they are just, every week they look worse and worse on offense.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's getting better, and Saquon is really, really struggling. And I feel like we're talking, but maybe it's just been the scheme and how they've played it. He ran. I know he was running 5 yards a clip, but he just does not look the same player. I feel like we're going to find out Saquon's carrying injuries because he just looks completely different. And go on, sorry.
He had the two big. He's got 31 yards on his first 2 runs on Thursday, and then after that, I mean that boosts that 5 yards per carry a lot. Because after that, it looked like he couldn't run for a yard.
I would say that interior O-line is not what it was last year. I think they've got a few injuries, and it's just not stepping up. And again, obviously on the betting side, on my fantasy side, that throw to Smith, it was there. And I'm curious, if Hurt hit Smith down, it was wide open. Because I think I think only 7 points down. It was a close game. I think they were fairly close, and that's the kind of throw Hurts normally hits. It's just little things like that, quite off as well. Where that would
and even the pick six as well. I know that was to Devonta Smith, but AJ Brown was open in the end zone.
It wasn't to Devon Smith because I think Devon Smith was open as well.
It was
to
Dotson.
Dotson, yeah.
Johan Dotson. Yeah, and AJ Brown and Devontae Adams were wide open. It's the decision making, the line struggling, they can't really get a running game going. It's all problematic. And then I suppose what just sort of compounds the situation for the Eagles at the minute is defense is starting to fall apart. And then the special teams is a joke.
Yeah. They
traded for Tank Bigsby to try and get some return game going.
Yeah.
He fumbled a kickoff out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
And they started to drive. It's just you just can't have all these things going wrong because you just can't overcome them, no matter how many superstars you've got. So yeah, big problems for Philadelphia. And I agree. Like I'm fully expecting the Cowboys to beat the Panthers. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, they're fucked it. They play the Vikings next week. Carson Wentz revenge game, is it? I don't know if JJ McCarthy's going to be back. Well, the Eagles.
I don't know if he come out if they've got a revenge game in play.
I know I was about to say there's been some news about JJ also where he might be like they're keeping him off again, where it might be like a soft kind of benching where they're trying to, they're using this injury as an excuse, but they're keeping him out. But also with the Eagles, they did have some injury. Obviously, Carter didn't start this game. Nolan Smith obviously on Mitchell going. I think Mitchell's the big one. I think he brings that presence where even like he was arguing with Worst from the Bucks, and he's like, he's probably like got 200 pounds on him. So he brings that attitude, that tackling, and when he went out, his quarterbacks just looked soft and just did not want to be. There was the other defensive back where the tackle on the goal line.
Dory Jackson.
Yeah, Dory Jackson. Yeah, where like he just wasn't a proper tackle whatsoever. And there's a few of them where I felt like they gave up. And I think that's the worrying fact where they felt like there was a bit of giving up when it was like 7-10 points down, where it's like, oh, this is not the Eagles defense. And I think statistically that was the worst Vic Fangio's defense has ever looked. So yes, they've got a lot of things not going their way. But
if Jalen Carter's in him all the time, I think they might be getting big dominant D tackle.
Yeah. I mean, on the flip side, I thought the Giants looked great. I think Jackson Dart. I keep thinking, am I going to go there? I'm going to go there. But somehow he's just playing so well. And when you look at a lot of the teams who didn't pick him, I wonder if he's going to be one of them who regret. Obviously, I'm going to wait for a good year or two before fully saying he's a top 10 kind of quarterback. But how he's been playing so far, it's incredible. But it's also he needs to stop taking these hits. It's just like. I know you're trying to look big and hard and all that kind of stuff, but one day someone's just going to is going to be out for a while. And then you see it all the time with some of these quarterbacks. You can just slide sometimes. Some of them are just like daft. He obviously went out for concussion and Brian Dable didn't,
Cam Scotty was popping in.
Well, yeah, I saw he was arguing with the medical person. It's just like, a bit too...
Sounds like Scatterbo cleared him based on how that interaction went because the doctor just ran out. And I don't think somebody who clearly already has CTE should be clearing somebody from a concussion. But Scatterbo, the tone setter, I think, which is a point I was about to make about the Eagles' defense looking soft. Well, that Adoree Jackson tackle on we can't call it tackle, attempted tackle. I think that's come from the fact that Scatterbo just bowled him over time after time after time. And ultimately, Adoree Jackson just doesn't want to try and tackle him properly. Because he's just, he's scared of getting fucking nailed. Like, Scatterbo's throwing himself through, over defenders. Incredible stuff. I think both of them need to calm down a bit. That and Scatterbo, otherwise they're going to miss time. You just can't continue taking the hit that they take to the head because it's just
I've never been more convinced that a quarterback in only his third start or fourth start is going to have a sophomore slump than Jackson Dart. This is not sustainable. And that does remind me as well of our new weekly segment, Cam Scatterbo Runs Like.
Yes, excellent. Let's hear it.
Cam Scatterbo runs like a deer that wandered into a convenience store and is now mowing down candy aisles trying to figure out where the window is. Cam Scatterbo runs like he has an invincibility star. Cam Scatterbo runs like he's dashing through a forest and has a vendetta against every tree. And finally, from our friend Arif Hassan, Cam Scatterbo runs like he's a thumb jammed in someone's eye. All beautiful, all great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my takeaway of this game.
And just probably my biggest takeaway from this, kind of when I was watching First Night Football back, and I didn't think I was going to get this feeling ever again about the New York Giants. I want to see the New York Giants play football.
Yeah. And that's without Malik Neighbors.
And that is also without Malik Neighbors as well. And yeah, which I just never thought that was going to happen again. And I do. I absolutely do. They go to the Broncos next. Tough game, but who knows?
And then back to the Eagles.
And then back to the Eagles. Twice in 3 weeks. Excellent. Cheers, Byron, for your overreaction. Joe, we're on to yours. And bit of a sore one, isn't it, this week?
Yeah, God hates the 49ers, or whichever God you pray to, you talk to, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, he hates 49ers. Plenty of luck and all of it bad. How many more superstars can the 49ers lose this year before it becomes personal? Is playoff berth in jeopardy? This is what I mentioned at the beginning, just where I feel like I'm done with this year. It's just every single superstar. We can't go like 1 week without an injury. Just constantly like, oh, I just want 1 week. And it's just not Fred Warner. Fred Warner is probably my favorite player of the 49ers. He is the tone setter. He's our captain. And I think George Kittle is what it is on the offensive. And Warner, I think, is more on that defense. He makes it all run. I think he was playing a defensive player of the year kind of level this year, just playing incredible. There's been a lot of people saying, oh, he's playing like Fred Warner level to other linebackers this year, because Fred Warner just plays that good. Future Hall of Famer, and just gets injured on like a nothing kind of challenge where I think a 49er player rode into it. His ankle was pointing the wrong way. Looks like he's broken it and dislocated it and needs end of season surgery. And it's just disappointing where it feels like every week, like Bosa went out a couple of weeks and you think, okay, we probably could survive with Warner. They might be able to get an edge rusher in. Huff's been playing well. Williams has been playing well. But I don't think you can replace Fred Warner. I just don't think you can. There's not many linebackers in the league who plays like him. He's been, the best one or two for the last 4 or 5 years. And it's just disappointing when Kittle was apparently coming back next week. I think Pearsall was coming back next week, probably Purdy. Juwan Jennings was back this week, who's playing through like broken ribs and a few other injuries. And it's just another 4-2, and they've played well, but it just gets to a point when we had it last year. I think that's the most disappointing thing. We had all this injury last year. You just think, hopefully this year it normally balances itself out. But it's felt like it's been worse this year, just with how good we've started, just the injuries, and especially Bosa and Warner just being out. And that defense is already young and inexperienced, and then you lose that guy. It was disappointing. They actually played decent like just after he left, but it felt like the Bucs were eventually going to come out with this victory. The Bucs, won 30-19. I think they only were leading by a point near the end of the third quarter, and why am I blanking on his name? Baker Mayfield does that incredible rush out of so it looks like he's going to get sacked, managed to spin out, does all that kind of stuff.
Well, while you're on that note, Joe, shall we see Baker in action? That's the clip we've got for it. And it felt key. It did feel key because the Niners had the Bucs 3rd and long, 3rd and 14 in the Bucs half of the field. And it looked like they had him banged to rights, dead to rights. And I'll play the video.
Shepard out there, his old college teammate. But he's not going to have a chance. Oh, yes, he is. He fights through the sack.
What a guy.
Oh, my goodness, he's done it again.
5 49ers defenders have a shot at him to stop, 2 to sack him, and then to stop him making the first down marker. And I feel like that was the moment where kind of the Bucs broke the back of the Niners. And then just from there, it was just a struggle. Bucs eventually go 2 scores up, win it 30-19. But I know, Joe, and you're right to bemoan the 49ers look with injuries. It's the big plays, the season ending. It's brutal. It's hard to manage. And look, the 4-2, and they've managed it really well so far. On the flip side, the Bucs are kind of doing a similar thing. They're in a fortunate position where a lot of their guys are going to be coming back at least. But look who Baker Mayfield was throwing to at the end of that game. So he's missing Egbuka, Evans. Was Godwin ruled out before the game? Yeah. So you're missing wide receiver 1, 2, and 3.
And 4. Jalen McMillan's out all season.
And 4, Jalen McMillan's on IR as well. Throwing to Cameron Johnson, Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard. Yeah, Tez Johnson, a shout for Fantasy Gameday for you, Byron. It's like Buka went out during the game quite early, which is a shame because he's having an incredible rookie season. Feels like injury is the only thing stopping him from having a fully tremendous season. Might be out for a little bit. The old line injuries that they've had, they're down to a 4th right guard. They're dealing with similar things, and yet they are finding a way to win week after week after week. And Todd Bowles doing an incredible job. Baker Mayfield rightly in the MVP conversation. I just love what the Bucs are doing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Well, they still have Baker Mayfield. That's huge. Obviously, not losing your quarterback, and if Vita Vea went down as well, I'd be like, yeah, it's similar because he was incredible. I think he had 4 or 5 pressures, and he was just bullying Pooney and a few of the internal guards and getting. For Matt Jones, probably his worst game. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, still threw for 347 yards. It was just the red zone issues which they had last year just cropped up. I think they went red zone quite a lot, and they only got 1 touchdown. A lot of field goals for the 49ers. So it was just, if you put one of them, like I said, they got it down to 1 point. I think it's 2019 near the end of the 3rd quarter. If they could just convert one or even 2 of them field goals into touchdowns, that's huge. And then the interception at the beginning of the game, Tampa Bay scored 2 plays after that, and then near the end where they were 8 points down, it was a big interception as well. So I think the Bucs deserved it. It always felt like they were just. It was just a matter of time before they brought this defense down, just because how good Baker's been playing, and the 49ers couldn't get. It felt like they could get so far, and then like some Vita Vea or someone else would destroy them, and just very disappointing.
I was sweating on the over on this one. I took the Bucs as the over as my main bet for the game, I just took the over for the game over 47.5, and it only came on that last field goal after Chase McLaughlin missed one early, about 10 minutes or so earlier, and there was no scoring, so I was real sweating on it. And thankfully, it hit the over. I also took the Bucs -3 in the end as well. Good betting outcome for that. Excellent. That is the weekly overreaction segment done. Let's head to talk through the rest of the games through our 4-fold challenge and ATS Picks competition. Still not hit one yet. I think we're kind of where we're at with me and Joe 2-2, Byron possibly 3-1 or 2-2, depending how your Monday Night Football game goes. And Dan, I guess from the Saints City and Me podcast, also 2-2. So 2-2 is all round, pretty much. Let's go through the games we've not covered. So I had Colts as a favorite. It was a boneheaded pick at the time, given the way the draft works that we do here, and turns out, and the Colts a good team, not a great team, as they didn't cover here.
They have got the best ATS record in the league, 4-2, along with a few other teams, I must say, including New England. I was going to shout them out earlier. But no, I think you take care of business. I think we can still think of them as great 5-1. At this point, I still regard them as probably a great team in this year's NFL. I do think this year's NFL, as my overreaction said last week, we are kind of lacking great teams, but I think relative to the competition, I think we're happy to still have the Colts in there. They did win the game.
They did, 31-27. But the Cardinals, to fair to them, did push them all the way. Jacoby Brissett in for injured Kyler Murray. Funny how Kyler Murray picks up an injury just as the Call of Duty beta thing preview's been released. Funny that, isn't it? But yeah, Jacoby Brissett had a really good 320 yards of passing. Obviously, 2 touchdowns with 1 interception. Marvin Harrison Jr. went out the game, didn't he, quite early as well, but got Trey McBride going, got Trey McBride in the end zone, which, of course, has been a difficult thing over the last 12 months or so. They kind of really, really kept it close and pushed the Colts all the way.
I know you didn't think about the bounce back after everything was going on. That's why I let the Cardinals to at least cover. And Brissett had the ball on the 9-yard line. They had 3-7 and 4-7 to win the game. So he wasn't like the Colts, like I said, even I thought the Cardinals was going to win it at that point, but obviously making that great. And it would have been curious to see how they would have played it if Brissett had gone in. I think the Colts was still impressive, but the Cardinals certainly did their job and put on a good showing.
Yeah, Colts 5-1. Played 4 of 6 games at home so far. They're 4-0 at home, so obviously their schedule backloaded with road games. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Cardinals fall to 2-4. For the underdog, I took the Bengals plus 14 to cover, and they did. They went down 27-18 to the Packers. They kept it close for the vast majority of it. It was only kind of the fourth quarter where the Packers seemed to pull away. Flacco gave them just a better platform in his debut, I think, for the Bengals. Able to let, kind of what we talked about, able to let Chase and Higgins make plays. I think they combined for 15 receptions, 150-odd yards, and a touchdown. If the Bengals are going to have a chance, they're 2-4, so they're not dead. This is what they need to do.
Yeah, they had 0 points at halftime though, so that was
a little bit scary. He only got there on Tuesday.
He did still play the first half though, right? I mean, yeah, I don't have any confidence still in the Bengals, truthfully. Yeah, they kept this one close, but I'm not getting excited about it.
I'll get excited if Charlie picks them as 5.5-point underdogs on Thursday. I'll be lumping on it.
Fair point.
But for the Packers, again, I feel like they kind of sleptwalked through this game. Obviously, they were off the bye. They were pushed a bit, but I think the Packers might be struggling a little bit. I think they could have made a statement of intent here by going kind of just hammering the Bengals.
Yeah.
And it just felt painful.
A win's a win at this stage. They go 3-1-1, 3-0 at home, like you mentioned with the Colts. We'll talk about some of the games. I think sometimes teams play to the level of their opponent, and they felt like the Packers were just keeping something back. So, but yeah, they came out with the victory. So I think that's the positive. And they've got the Cardinals next. We'll just talk about the Cardinals in Arizona. So yeah, it should be a more interesting game. We'll see where they're at.
Excellent. And then, Bengals Thursday Night Football, as we'll talk about a little bit towards the end. Next up, I had the under in Rams, Ravens, and 17-3. We have a lot to talk about this game, even though I was watching it with the UK's Ravens guys. So shout out again, thanks to the UK's Ravens guys for having us along. We've got a little 15-20 minute bonus podcast only available on audio. So go listen to it now. We had a chat with a few of the guys kind of before the game, during the game, halftime, etc., of how it was going. I suppose they got what they wanted in terms of the defense was able to kind of stifle the Rams in the first half. Then the Ravens just couldn't take advantage of the opportunities that they had. There's probably 2 sequences of pre-halftime play that were incredibly terrible. We'll talk about the Jets later, but what the Ravens tried to do to score a touchdown on that sequence for halftime, getting it to the 1 yard line and going, Mark Andrews tush push, and then we'll run it with Derrick Henry when they know it was just bizarre. And then they didn't recover from the Rams scoring 2 quick touchdowns after halftime. So, yeah, I think they're dead. 1-5. I just think they're dead, aren't they?
What did you think of the Rams? So you just talked about the Packers not playing amazing against the Bengals. The Rams obviously got 2 quick touchdowns, and there was a lot of. I remember just seeing this game at the under. It felt like each team had the ball in red zone a couple of times and just couldn't get it in. Missed field goals, interceptions, and fumbles, and another fumble. It was just a bit all over the place. This game, a very sloppy game where. It could have been 30-20, but it's ended up just being 17-3 just with the mistakes.
Probably quite lucky to hit the under, but I don't know, they just kind of, especially when Puka Nacua went out, they just seemed to kind of lose their way, really, the Rams. Obviously, he came back in the game later on, which I feel like is a big error because he's now, it sounds like he's been ruled out for weeks now. Yeah. So he's sprained his ankle. I've watched the play where he got injured. I don't really see where he sprained his ankle. He just seems to kind of come down, trying to catch a pass, but land on his back and then whack his ankle on the floor. But it looks like it's such a shame because mentioned at the start, you're wanting to see the best players play. Now he's not going to be unlikely to make the trip to Wembley, so which sucks. But yeah, obviously the Rams needed. I suppose they just maybe needed a win in the worst way off the back of the Niners loss on Thursday Night Football a couple of weeks ago. But it's an interesting match. We've got 2-4-2 teams at Wembley, which should make up for the debacle that was Sunday at Spurs. So hopefully we're going to get a good game. I'm sure we will do. But yeah, it wasn't impressed with the Rams anyway, Joe, to answer your question. Excellent. I also had the over Seattle Jags that didn't hit because, it was just a bit of a struggle offensively. So 2-2 for me. Joe, you had the Cowboys as your favourite. Byron, you can lead the way on this if you want, because I was just catching it on Red Zone while watching the Ravens game with the Ravens guys.
Sure, yeah, Rico Dowdle, the man, revenge game, and he comes out and crushes it once again. Leads the day in rushing, but we did not back it this week because he was only 10-1. But would have been a nice winning bet. 183 yards on 30 carries, and 30-27 win for the Panthers at home. Bit of a surprise. Bryce Young clean, Dak Prescott clean, but ultimately Carolina just did enough. I thought it was a fun game, a classic Dallas game this season. It was fun, no defense. And that was about it, really. George Pickens had a really fun play trying to side hurdle somebody. I'm sure we all seen the highlight. And then swung a punch at somebody as he was finishing a run. The full George Pickens experience, the full Dallas Cowboys 2025 experience. Jake Ferguson gets another touchdown. Great to see. Ted McMillan gets his first career touchdown and his second career touchdown, which is also great to see. He's been playing really well. Only had 29 yards, but got his 2 touchdowns. And just a nice win for Carolina, who are 500 or better for the first time since November 14th, 2021. Ooh. Been a bleak few years for Carolina. And actually, a couple of weeks ago, a Carolina fan podcast who's been around for over a decade essentially retired or took a sabbatical. Because they're just too bummed out watching this team. And since then, they're 2-0. So maybe they've got the Charlie Pep talk. In podcast form. It's quite funny. They finally give up on this loser team that can't beat anybody, and they go 2-0. But it turned out you just need Rico Dowdle to power through. A tough loss because I fancied this was my favorite as well, Joe, truthfully. So I thought Dallas would take care of business. I thought they'd be too strong offensively, and just a really good defensive matchup.
Yeah, what happened to the run game? Sorry, I'm just curious to the run game. Obviously, they had 19 carries in total, only for 31 yards, so 1.6 compared to the Carolina, who got 216 on the ground at 5.7 on average. What happened to because the Cowboys, we all talked about how the Cowboys winning games actually be really good, and actually surprising how good Javonte Williams has looked. And compared to it was all George Pickens really in the air. So what happened to the run game? Was the Panthers just? I think
the Rico Dowdle effect just overtook the entire stadium, and it was just all settled for him. I think Javonte Williams will be fine next week, outside of the Carolinas. But that's my hypothesis. I don't have anything stronger.
And by the way, I did see the heavier the Leggett could have had the worst play of the season, where he just decided to lateral to Rico Dowdle, who then fumbled, and Leggett managed to jump on it. If that had got, that would have been just a daft performance by another wide receiver, just suddenly just chucking it.
Yep.
It wasn't even needed.
It was on second down.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I just needed to mention that one.
It's okay. Shout out to those podcast guys, our brothers in podcasting. The guys from Meow Mix is the name of the podcast. I was going to shout it out if you obviously not realizing you were going to. But maybe they'll be back. Maybe they'll be back after a couple of wins. Who knows? But
with their cattails between their legs.
Maybe. But best of luck to those guys. Weirdly, Jerry Jones didn't speak to the media afterwards, which usually tells me he's going to do something really fucking stupid. Or not, maybe. I don't know. Is Matt Eberflus going to go?
For Rico Dowdle.
Maybe. Is Matt Eberflus going to go this week? Because that feels kind of like the move.
I wouldn't expect so, but I wouldn't be stunned.
Because it's just not working. It is just not working at all. So, yeah. I thought, not that they made positive strides last week against the Jets, because it was the Jets, and the Jets are awful. But the scheme, at least though they played a bit more man and stuff, and it kind of felt like they just went back to the original plan. And it just didn't work again. It was a disaster again. Yeah. So, not good. Cool. Yeah, Cowboys dropped to 2-3-1, and that's just ludicrous saying that, isn't it? I think they're done now. We talked last week. Can they make a run? No, because you've dropped this game, and you needed one of those. You either need that Packers tie or needed to beat the Bears. There's not enough games now, winnable games left for them to make a run, I'm afraid. Next up, Joe, you had the Seahawks as your underdog, who won outright, as we just talked about. Bengals, Packers over, and Cardinals, Colts.
So the Bengals, Packers, it was 45 with that 2-point conversion. So I think they must have Flacco.
Well, they went the sound strategy, wasn't it? Was 14 down in the fourth quarter, go for 2 when you score the first touchdown. So yeah, so that tells you can do some things right. And you had Colts, Cardinals under 47, which hit over. Byron, you hit the over. Cowboys Cardinals, which we was talked about. Your under you're still waiting on. Bears Commanders on Monday Night Football. Titans, you took as your underdog. I guess let's talk about the news for the Titans. So they lost 20-10 against the Raiders and then fired Brian Callahan about an hour ago.
Yeah, and I think, I don't want to be rude, but not before time. He's had a very underwhelming coaching stint. I don't think the talent is necessarily there, but the coaching definitely isn't. 4-19 over his 23 games. And it is last 4 QBs taken number 1 overall of all of their coach fired mid-season the following year.
Can we name them? Should we have a quiz time?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Urban Meyer.
Yep, 2021. That was the longest to go.
Matt Eberflus.
Yep, Matt Eberflus getting talked about being fired twice in 90 seconds here. And then one more.
That's good, isn't it? Fired twice in 90 seconds.
Who was the Panthers head coach?
Oh, Frank Reich.
Frank Reich. Your man, Frank Reich, yeah. What a collective name that is. Urban Meyer, Frank Reich, Matt Eberflus, and Brian Callahan. Over-under on 0.5 games coached by this gang again in the NFL.
Oh, under.
Yep,
under,
I agree.
Under.
Yeah, Titans were woeful. Every coach Geno Smith has beaten this year has been fired by the Titans at some point in their career. Fun fact, there's 2 wins. Mike Vrabel and Brian Callahan.
Nice.
Yeah, Titans were just really poor again. I don't think the Raiders were especially good either, 10-20. But the big story here is obviously a change in Tennessee and overdue. I don't know what will come of it.
Mike McCoy, the former Chargers coach, is interim. I expected to be named interim head coach. He was the senior offensive assistant. The Titans obviously got some coaching experience, or head coach experience. So.
Yeah, I think it just all of his games there's like quite a lot of just mental errors, coaching wise. There's a lot. Obviously, I know the one last week, but I just felt like, you guys didn't do anything to win that game. The other team just somehow gave you 4 or 5 massive chances to win it. So I think he deserved to be fired. I think there was just 2 boneheaded plays and just you just could tell it was too big of a position for him.
There was a number of times already this season where he admitted in press conference to not knowing the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And then backtracking on it, and it's like, you just can't. It's embarrassing to be like, oh yeah, we didn't challenge it because, 1 knee doesn't equal 2 feet. It's like, yes, it does. Everybody, well, not everybody, but like, we all know that, and we're not NFL head coaches now, unlikely to ever be, but nor is Brian Callahan. So, yeah. Not sure, I don't think I have much more to say about Brian Callahan. I think just
that's fine.
Good
I took the Raiders -4. I just felt like, they were going to win this week, like win and win comfortable. Geno tried to make it nervy for me with the daft pick, but Raiders pick up a win. They're shit as well. So Titans 1-5, man, with an interim head coach. Raiders 2-4. I'm not sure what the future holds for them. Steelers Browns. Steelers 5.5-point favorites, and they won 23-9. Again, kind of Dylan Gabriel throwing the ball 52 times is not the answer if you're the Cleveland Browns. Really isn't.
Nope. Can't say it much simpler than that. Yeah, maybe double Rodgers' pass attempts and still came in under passing yardage to him. I don't want to say it looked easy for Pittsburgh, but it kind of did. A lot of kicking, obviously, because it's, the Mike Tomlin Steelers, that's what they do. But, just a pretty comfortable day's work, I think, for Pittsburgh. And in the summer, Myles Garrett said Aaron Rodgers coming to the AFC North was a good opportunity to put him in the graveyard. Garrett had no sacks and no tackles today.
Yeah.
Not sure he quite buried Aaron Rodgers. And this did mark a continuing theme for Cleveland heading into Heinz Field or Acura Stadium, whatever it's called nowadays. Do you know the last time they won there in the regular season?
I do, yeah.
Oh, well. For Joe, I will tell you the date then. Joe, it was October 5, 2003. But what I really want to know is, do you know what was number 1 that day?
Number 1.
What was the date again, sorry? I was looking.
He's trying to sound like
October 2003.
October
2003.
You boys were probably clubbing then, mid-20s, right?
Oh, I was 12.
I was 14, yeah.
Is this UK we're looking at?
If you could tell me where it is in Germany, Australia, America, or the UK, I'll give you a point for it. Yeah, but UK is what I was thinking. I'll even give you Canada.
October 2000. Give us a little bit of a clue.
Well,
Is it Sean Paul?
Pardon?
Is it Sean Paul?
No, it isn't Sean Paul, but you're definitely in the right era. This was a huge single in the UK.
Florida?
No.
2003?
I'll go earlier than that. Think more like real classic number one. Everybody knows it.
2003. I'm going to go Beyonce, Crazy in Love. That feels about that time.
No, I think that was a couple of years earlier. Beyonce was number one in the US with Baby Boy, if that gives you a bit of clue on timeline. Joe, do you want to guess or shall I just reveal?
Crazy Frog, Axel.
Absolutely not. It was Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love?
Okay.
In Germany, though, shout out what the Browns have been doing ever since. It was Dido White Flag. So, yeah, I just thought that was a great start. It was Butch Davis coaching back then. I mean, I don't have too much to say about this game, I will say. I thought it was a really easy pick for the Steelers. So it proved. Quinton Judkins didn't even get going on the ground, 12 for 36. Yeah. And if he doesn't get going, the Browns don't get going. Fanning had a good game. But, yeah, they were never competing with Pittsburgh here. And
I think those two
Cincinnati for Pittsburgh. Sorry, Paul.
Those two rookies are like the bright spots. I think Judkins and Fanning of kind of the season of.
I'd give Schlesinger a shout as well.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, to be fair, the youth project not looking so bad in Cleveland, but it's all going to hinge on do you hit on the quarterback next year or not?
Yeah. At this point, you know what I want to see sooner rather than later? I want to see Shadur. Just play Shadur. I just want to see him.
It can't be any worse.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw a tweet, and I've not keyed it up, but just had all the quarterbacks that are contributing to the Browns cat pick currently.
Oh, yeah, I did see that as well. Yeah. Jameis was on there.
So it's Jameis is still contributing, Dead Cat, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, obviously the biggest amount of it, 30-odd million. So Joe Flacco's contributing to it. Bailey Zappi is, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, and there's another one, there's 8, I can't remember who the 8th one is. That all contributes to
Oh, you said Pickett.
I think I mentioned him, yeah. But I can't remember the 8th
one
is.
DTR, maybe?
DTR, Dead Cat. So they're all contributing to the Browns cat pick currently, which is just insane, isn't it? But yeah, Steelers 4-1, division's in their hands. Like they're gonna have to fuck up real bad not to win this division, aren't they? Really, from here.
Yep, and they've got a lot of easy games to do it because they still have to play the Browns again. They've got to play the Bengals twice. They've got to play the Ravens twice. All soft.
Yeah, you can probably put them at 9-1 just from that. Cool. Or 9 wins just from that, and that'll take Tomlin again. To our guest, Dan. Dan had the Rams as his favourite against the Ravens. He took his Saints as the underdog. He didn't hit. He took the over, which hit in Cowboys, Panthers, and he also took the under in Chargers, Dolphins. And what a weird kind of game this was. Again, kind of it felt like the Chargers were got kind of clear in the second half and were kind of fully in control. I think it was 23-13. And then the Dolphins just came back on them in the fourth quarter, kind of out of nowhere, overcoming 3 turnovers to look like they were absolutely going to win the game. Almost kind of nailed on to win the game. Before then, they just got real soft again, couldn't cover a kickoff and couldn't tackle Lad McConkey. And all of a sudden, the Chargers got a chip shot field goal to win the game.
Yeah, 3 of their wins, I think, have been summarized. The Chargers wins is summarized by Justin Herbert playing hero ball. The 2 runs against the Broncos and the Chiefs, and then that breakaway and throw to Lad McConkey were brilliant. Just great play by Justin Herbert, breaking away from the pressure. But I think you might have it queued up, the Tua soundbite at the end of the game. Mike McDaniel spoke out about it today, knows that Tua regrets it, etc., etc. It's just not good enough. There is such a leadership vacuum in Miami.
Yeah.
It feels like we talk about this every week, but the writing has to be on the wall sooner or later. They're 1-5. They're going nowhere. Coach should be gone. Quarterback should be gone. And I dare say the quarterback isn't even the biggest issue. That defense is empty.
Well, let's play Tua's post-game thoughts. I clearly didn't think this through. This is from Cameron Wolf via the Miami Dolphins.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership.
The sound is terrible. I do apologize. It's turned down right low. We'll start there.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
And do you think he's kind of regretting opening his mouth with that sort of stuff as he's saying it? 'Cause it kind of feels like it sounds like he is, because that's the real dumb thing to do, to just throw all your teammates under the bus, or throw your teammates under the bus. And when he's talking about leadership as the quarterback of the team, as a fifth year quarterback now, or 6-year quarterback?
Yeah.
6-year quarterback. He ultimately should be the leader of the goddamn team.
Yeah, it's funny as well. Deshaun Hamilton, former wide receiver on the Dolphins, commented on Twitter last night. It's weird because when we had players only meetings in the past, Tua was always late for them. And like, as soon as you get there as a number 5 overall pick as a quarterback, you are the franchise quarterback. You have to be setting the standard. And a lot of this stuff, again, we've talked about it a lot with Mike McDaniel specifically, but like the nerdy, cool guy, whatever, it works when you're winning. Tua might be aloof in the building. Nobody gives 2 shits when you're winning. As soon as you're embarrassing and you're 1-5 and you can't beat anybody other than Jets, it's going to be an issue. And Tua looks like he can't handle the pressure in the pocket. He can't handle the pressure from the media. It's just a downward sinking ship, as opposed to an upward sinking ship.
Just feel like, when these play each other, these things, they're always going to be tied together, Tua and Justin Herbert, because they were taken 5th and 6th. But obviously, ultimately, the Dolphins had the choice and took Tua. And they just must regret that decision every single time they play the Chargers and see Justin Herbert. Massively so. Any more on this one before we move on? We'll talk about. We've only got one more game to talk about in detail.
No, I do think I will give Tua a little break. The 3 interceptions. One was Jalen Waddle deciding to play juggle, and one was trying to do a lateral to keep the game alive at the end of the game.
That was right at the end, wasn't it? Yeah, that's fair.
Only one of those interceptions on him, but he didn't have a great game. But I do think the defense is a bigger issue because I think the offense has gone down from really efficient to middle of the league-ish. Whereas I think the defense is maybe not rock bottom, but certainly not bottom percentile of just can't stop anybody, can't pressure anybody. And it isn't fixable, in my opinion. So it's going to be a long, long season for Miami, regardless of who you fire.
Yeah, so the Dolphins are, as it stands, 2.5-point underdogs against the Browns next week, which kind of just tells you where they are.
What a name, jeez Louise.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, we get Chargers-Colts next week, kind of clash of 2 of the top AFC
Very
teams.
fun game, yeah.
Balances out a little bit, I guess. Interesting. Cool. Also, Mike McDaniel needs to start wearing his pants properly. You can't be 1-5. This also applies to Aaron Glenn, because he does the same thing. Wear your pants properly when you're this bad.
It's funny. I thought the exact same thing when I seen him on the sideline yesterday. But yeah, let's get to our ATSs.
Yeah, excellent. So, middling. I mean, me and Byron 9-4 ATS this week. Joe 6-7. Joe, what's going on ATS wise with you? Because you are currently 14 games behind Byron at the minute in our season-long competition. 35, 53, and 3.
I don't know exactly. Like first 2 years we did this, I think I won both of them fairly comfortably and well above 500. But this year, just having a stinker all around. Obviously, God hates me along with my 49ers. That's how it must be with these picks.
Excellent. Well, let's just talk about the ones flying solo. And I suppose this is the last game we've got to pick top at anyway. So, I don't think you should take a win for this one, Byron. To be honest, I think you should give half the game back. You have the Jets covering against the Broncos. And what a disgusting game of football this was. Broncos 13, the New York Jets 11. I'm not sure who this reflects worse on, because The Broncos were awful. And the New York Jets really had all of the chances to win this game. If they would just imagine if they'd have had net 50 passing yards in the game instead of net minus 10, they'd probably win the game.
Yeah, as many completions as sacks is an unbelievable stat line for an actual quarterback. This isn't Kendall Hinton, forced to play there as a wide receiver for a week. This is unbelievable. And yeah, I mean, the Jets got the first down with 2 minutes remaining in the game as well. I mean, I'll take the win because it's mathematically there, but yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like a win. This was appalling.
It was, and it was also appalling from both sides as well. To be honest, after the farce of what happened to the people who went to the first Spurs game last week, just the difficulties getting in and all that jazz, and then they also had to watch Carson Wentz against Dylan Gabriel, to then be served up this is quite astonishing, really. I follow a guy, so the guy who runs, Matt Cullen, who runs JTT Cup charity fantasy football. He's a great follow on Twitter. He's just a generally frustrated New York Jets fan. But he was at the game at Spurs, and I think he paid. I think he might have been obviously close to like 40 minutes or an hour into the game, and he was like obviously comparing his ticket price to how many yards of offense the Jets had got. And his tweet was, "I assume the full price of his ticket. I've paid £190 per yard of offense so far," and it was well into the second quarter.
That's horrible.
Sums it up. The Jets guys, again, shout out the UK and Ireland Jets fan groups. They look like they had a great time down there anyway, the pre-game stuff and everything. So at least they look like
all good until the whistle went.
Yeah, pretty much. They look like they had fun and a good pre-game tailgate and all that. So that was good. But apart from that, not really much to say about this game. Aaron Glenn did make it on the plane, at least. I assumed they were going to fire him at half-time after just what happened in that final 2 minutes where you mentioned they got that first down and then just whittled the clock away and to be stuck with a 4th and 1 and time runs out. It was crazy, and everyone was booing at Spurs. It was, I think even the Broncos.
Garrett Wilson was booing at Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. It's rough. Someone's got to give there. At what point? So is there a risk of signing like hard because like Garrett Wilson signed the contract, but are we going to get some? Are they going to start trading in things for parts? Like Breece Hall feels like a candidate for trade.
Breece Hall absolutely should. Garrett Wilson, knee injury, so out for a couple of weeks. I don't think he's going to be getting traded. And like you said, just signed a big contract. Sauce Gardner the same without the knee injury. But yeah, I think Breece Hall, surely someone throws a 6th round pick at them and just says, take it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of teams need a running. I mean, it'd be Kansas City's number 1 back instantly as one who comes to mind.
Yeah. Feels like they're probably going to start moving some parts. And yeah, it just couldn't have gone much worse, really. And yet they still could have won the game, which is crazy.
They could have won a few of the games.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, very true. Broncos move on. Just get out with a win. They play the Giants next week, as we've mentioned. And I think Jets have got the Panthers next week, and yet the Jets are only a 1-point underdog. Yeah. So we still have Monday Night Football to go. Other bits then just talk about, not much flying solo this week on our ATS picks, was there? Just me on the Chiefs after you on the Jets, Byron. But yeah, 9-4-1. Byron, you're 3 games ahead of me. So 49, 39, and 3. You've probably got a better record there, Byron, than some of the guys picking straight up.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
He does, Paul.
I'd probably do as well, yeah. You might as well. You might as well, Joe, to be fair. Let's head to our Fantasy Game Day picks, the winning Fantasy Game Day team. So again, shout out to Gamete and Co, the suffering Jets fans, but they've got also the best NFL daily fantasy game the UK has to offer. If you're not playing yet, go play now. Sign up using promo code COVER and get involved for week 7. Our week 6 winner of the £3 Sunday Stars game that we are playing was Maroon741551, who's clearly not updated their username, but they won with 202.44 points. They had JSN as captain. My captain was the only point scorer for me, but JSN, 60.4. that Prescott, and then the majority of the team that won last week. So Rico Dowdle with 33.9, Rashad White 17.6, Jake Ferguson as well, he was also on last week's winning team, 12.3, and then addition of George Pickens for 31.8, Kendrick Bourne, who's real cheap, 19.2. He was a £2,200 offering, wasn't he? Joe, I think he was in your team, and Parker Washington, who I guess was just another filler. But yeah, great selection. Prescott, Pickens, stack.
Yeah, it looks like a great lineup, to be fair. Dowdle, always delighted to see Rico Dowdle in these things. And it's interesting, Kendrick Bourne, back-to-back weeks, it's really becoming a bit of the Bourne legacy in San Francisco this season. So,
Have we nodded to every film at this point?
All the ones I know, yeah. And, that's not too many, so...
Excellent. Good stuff here. Go play Fantasy Game Day, get involved. More games than ever before and more varieties of games. And yes, use promo code cover. Got to be 18 years or over in the UK. Please gamble responsibly. I'll not say that enough. Thursday night football. Last bit of business. Who's not got the overlay ready again? Me. Oh, I might have actually.
The Steelers at Bengals anyway.
It is.
In the meantime, while you're getting it up. Steelers 5.5-point favourites again at Bengals on the road this time. Short week this time. Joe Flacco up against another fun defensive front. Still resolved meets the Bengals bite, quite literally. Can the AFC North journeyman Joe Flacco spark a Bengals season that's on life support with a huge divisional win? 5.5-point underdogs over under 42.5.
I really like him. I don't know why. I like 5.5-point underdogs at home in a divisional game. Give me the points. I think Steelers games are relatively low scoring. I think the Bengals, it's a short week, but a bit more time with Flacco in the offense. I don't know. I think they can win the game. I think Thursday night games where the underdog wins.
Yeah, I'm leaning the Bengals to win as well. I feel like it's just how football is. Like, it's very rare a team just especially on these weird Thursday night, Sunday night games, we've just had the Bills and the Patriots. So I just think the Bengals are good. We want them to as well to make it that AFC North a little bit more interesting. 'Cause if they go 2-5, the Steelers go 5-1. We mentioned it. It's more or less the Steelers as division. So let's hope Joe Flacco does provide a spark, and get them to 3-4, make this division a little bit more interesting. And like I said, Steelers have been good. They've just been the Steelers of all, not impressed, but just keep winning. So, and they normally do have these stupid. Doesn't Mike Tomlin have a crazy record when they're so big of a favorite away from home or something?
Against at Cincinnati as 5-point or more favorites, they're 7-3-2 lifetime, 10-2 in their last 12, 10-2. Yeah, 8-2 in the last 10. In the Tomlin era, that'd be 4-1-2 against the spread. So pretty good actually in Cincinnati as a big favorite. I'm picking the Steelers to cover in this one. I just kind of think short week for Bengals hurts them more than it does the Steelers, just with having a new quarterback and learning new things. A lot less confident than I was at 5.5 against the Browns, so I will say. I just think there maybe is a little bit of Flacco magic still left in there. And the Steelers defense isn't the Steelers defense. So I wouldn't be stunned, but I will take the Steelers as my pick here.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had too many, and I have to crunch numbers on it, but just no underdogs winning outright so far in the through 6 weeks. I feel like we're going to get some more, even at these relatively lower numbers. So yeah, I just really like the Bengals. I think we need it. I'm going to wait on Charlie because he's missed.
He was just barking as well. I don't know if he was trying to give us a hint of something, but
wanting to make his pick now.
Charlie got to wait.
He is Mr. Thursday Night. He is the hottest NFL Thursday night handicapper in the world. I'm just going to say that right now. So, yeah, it'd be daft not to follow him. So I'm hoping he picks the Bengals, but we'll see.
We shall.
Excellent. That's everything from us here at Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. Thanks for joining us for our Week 6 review. We'll be back with our Week 7 preview on Friday. Also, go check out a little bonus episode we've dropped. It's audio only. Just my time at the UK Ravens watch party from Sunday. So a bit of chat with the guys around the game. And once again, thanks for having us. We're going to be in London next week, or I am, for the game we're going to try and film some stuff outside Wembley. It'll probably be really fucking stupid. Hopefully, I'm going to I want to speak to people about the bets. That's kind of the whole point of our show. So I want to be chasing people down who've had a bet, making you come on our podcast, basically, is where we're at. Jenny's going to be so embarrassed. But yeah, we'll do that. But we have got Travis Holmes, as mentioned earlier, from Big Cat Country, joining us to give us a Jags perspective. Sadly, not making the trip over, but we have a chat around the Jags. He's our guest next week, so it should be a good one. Follow us everywhere. Good Teams Win Great Teams Cover. The podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Overcast, with a video version available on YouTube. If you to make sure you see Joe's wonderful graphics and our faces. Also, give us a follow on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Blue Sky at GTW_GTC, and we'll see you next time.